The difference is that it's... So for those of you who remember, that's the Faithless Looting Mulch Tracker's Instincts deck that was first piloted by the French team in Pro Tour Honolulu. But what they've changed is that rather than reanimating... They do still have some Elesh Norns, you know, four Elesh Norns to reanimate, but your other things, instead of being Worm Coils and Inferno Titans, they switch to being Phantasmal Images and Sun Titans, trying to be a little more robust with what you get so that you're not as all in on one thing or another. How to play it here, Shaheen's deck is Esper Walkers. We saw this yesterday when he was on camera. The Walkers we're talking about are 2 Gideon Jura, 2 Soren, 2 Liliana, 2 Tameo, and then he has 2 Consecrated Sphinx, which, while not being a Walker, is still one of his win cons. This sort of matchup, basically, Brian's going to have to keep... If Shaheen can get 2 Walkers on the battlefield, he might actually just be able to compete with whatever Brian does in the late game. The thing is, in the old Freets deck, Wormcoil Engine was one of the best cards for Freets, because Esper Walkers would have trouble dealing with it. That may not be the case today. Basically, if he can get Gideon plus Soren going, he may just... Shaheen's going to try to outpower the Freets deck.
Yeah. Post-board, Brian, however, does have a Strangleroot Geist Sword of War and Peace plan, which will be very good here.
It's game 1 Brian with a pretty good... with a triple draw, with a Concentrate Mulch here, which is pretty good. Once in the Freed's mana base is really is a sight
on the
to
play,
see.
He's only going to have to discard 2 of those.
Just 1 if he's on the play.
Or just 1, yes. I'm sorry, as opposed to 2. So if he mulligans, he doesn't have to discard any of them.
So Brian's deck is going to essentially make land drops and attempt to get to a game state where he's trying to cast a worm coil, not a worm coil, a large creature every single turn. Shaheen plays out a Despise here. Not getting... Really, he's just 2 Phantasmal Images. He's got to be a little disappointed with that Despise, especially when the Reanimator card of choice is Sun Titan. Yeah, it definitely is a little disappointing. That said, Brian's hand does not have much at all going on in it.
Yeah, Brian's hand is not very exciting.
Sheen's got to be pretty happy about that.
In fact, Brian's keep must have just been double Unburial Rights, Mulch, 4 lands, right?
I guess double Image, Mulch, double Rights,
double Image,
2
double
lands.
Rights, 2 lands. And then he mulched in the 3 lands.
Right.
That's not a bad keep. Especially against an unknown opponent, but you kind of got to put Shaheen on what he's playing.
Right. Well, at this point in the tournament, players will start to know what their opponents are playing. And a very good draw for Brian in Mulch.
When a Tracker's Instincts, that's a good one.
And there we go. Now we have something to unburial, something worthwhile to unburial rights. Remember that Brian's lands are going to start coming into play tapped here. So he'll probably he'll save that forest for the first turn he wants to use an unburial rights so he can hit a hit on curve for that turn.
Right, and a Lingering Souls from Shaheen. Let's start applying a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, Shaheen's really just trying to stall here until he can get 2 or more walkers online. I think he's going to, yeah, like I said, they're operating on different axes. They're both trying to set up their own respective game plans. Excellent Tracker's Instincts here. Gets to keep the, gets in unburial rights in the yards. Now he has 3 unburial rights going. He may play his forest down untapped here. Yep, to get the Absence Pilgrim out. So probably will eat a kill spell. If he has one. Shaheen
but
may
now it
just
doesn't
let
matter
it
because now he has an Unburial Rights to flash back in addition to the 2 in his hand. So.
Yeah, so actually, Shaheen just might let the Absence Pilgrim live.
Attention players in the standard open. Your seedings for the player meeting have now been posted.
Shaheen opts not to flashback Lingering Souls, which suggests a Forbidden Alchemy play here. I can't see his hand, but my assumption would be he has an Alchemy.
Perhaps like a Dissipate or something like that.
Or if he has nothing, he wouldn't flash it back because he figures Elesh Norn's coming. Maybe he has a Doomblade for the Elesh Norn, and that's all he has. You know, no sense in flashing it back yet.
Oh, Brian does not go for it.
No, this is the
Instead opting to Lingering Souls and flash it back, which is pretty reasonable because now when he does play the Elesh Norn, it's kind of going to be a very big overrun next turn.
Right, Lingering Souls is really good in this matchup for this reason. It can kind of force Shaheen to burn his sweepers when he really would rather not want to. Shaheen, remember, does have 2 Terminus in his deck, which is a much better sweeper than most cards in this matchup.
Yeah, putting the fatty onto the bottom of Brian's deck is much better than putting it back into his graveyard where it can be Unburial Rights again.
And Shaheen will think twice on end step here. So not the Alchemy, but close. Shaheen has Gideon Jura in his hand. He's gonna probably play. He also has a Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. So the double Walker situation, he does have it. Now he just needs to make sure it sets up right. He probably can't cast the Gideon because then it'll die to. If he casts the Gideon, he has to know that it'll die to an Unburial Rights to Elesh Norn.
Yes. But at this point, because he knows Brian has 2 Unburial Rights in hand and 1 in the graveyard, no matter what he does, Brian is going for it next turn.
Right, what he probably needs to do is clear the board of the Lingering Souls tokens so that when Elesh Norn is Unburial Rights, it gives him another turn to do something about it. He's going to just play the Gideon. And
Gideon Jura, a powerful Planeswalker from Rise of the Eldrazi, reprinted in M12. 5 mana, comes into play with 6 loyalty. You can +2 it to make all creatures attack Gideon the next turn, -2 to destroy a tapped creature, or you can use the 0 ability to make a 6/6.
Gideon? I think he... Oh, there's a 2 on it. The die is just hiding.
Oh, it's a gray dice.
The gray dice. I was like, look, it was only at 6 for a second. There we go.
The invisible gray dice.
Yeah, Gideon did taunt there. So Shaheen seems a little uncomfortable, right in this situation. I mean, I think he's trying to get the Elesh Norn out, presumably so he can wrath it. But it's paying quite a price to do that. And yeah, Gideon takes a whopping 15 damage.
It's a lot of damage. Next turn, Brian will be attacking for 19.
Whenever I play with Gideon, I always wonder how Gideon feels about how players treat him. You know, it's like, all right, Gideon, I'd like you to come out here. Now you're going to let these things attack you. A lot of them. He's like, you know, and he seems fine. He's like, oh, all right. And you're just, you know,
okay.
Yeah, to me it feels like Gideon has a bad job. It's like so he's baiting into that because he wanted to get the O-ring, get Elesh Norn under an O-ring. Remember, at this point, Braun Duin can start just actually casting all of the large
all the
cards.
fatty boom booms.
Yeah.
And he's definitely going to want to do that because that'll give him multiple shots at them because of the Unburial Rights, as long as Shaheen uses a card like Day of Judgment to deal with them.
We have Faithless Looting from Brian. Very strong card in the deck. Once again, just part of the deck's really powerful card advantage engine. Because he has the option to Flashback Looting and Flashback Trackers this turn. Or maybe
he flashback the
already
trackers.
Flashback Trackers. Yeah. Okay.
He got the Pilgrim and dumped the Unburial Rights.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is he should be able to find either a Sun Titan or an Elesh Norn this turn. Maybe he won't be able to cast it this turn, but by next turn you should expect he's casting large creatures again. And a Mulch will draw him 2 cards, binning another Phantasmal Image, so when that Sun Titan does arrive, he will have an army of Sun Titans.
Yes. It's going to be a very good Sun Titan.
Remember, his finishers are 4 Elesh Norn, 2 Sun Titan, 3 Phantasmal Image.
And a Faithless Looting. Does find a Gavany Township. It's been another route to victory here. Going to want to continue hitting land drops even though he's casting these lootings, because Gavany Township, the deck can actually become very, very mana hungry.
Right.
In addition to its big guys.
So he opts to trade away 2 of his Souls tokens despite getting the Township. That's yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
I don't know if I do either.
Especially because Shaheen has more Lingering Souls in the graveyard.
Right. Shaheen will summon the Lord of Innistrad, Thorin Markov. And some Souls.
Sorin coming down, making a vampire. Now Shaheen has everything he needs
All right, everyone, thank you very much for your patience. Sorry about the delay. Welcome to the StarCityGames.com Standard Open in Indianapolis. My name is Callie Anderson. I'm an events representative with Star City Games.
Just a moment while they talk on the
And
speaker.
it's my pleasure to help you guys out today. So if you don't mind paying attention to me for just a few minutes, got a couple announcements I need to make. First off, if you
Some
do
more
not have
souls
somebody
from Braun
seated
Duin
across
and the
from you,
Gavoni
please
Township.
Raise your hand and keep it raised until the judge comes around to assist you.
I believe all these will be attacking Soren.
Yep.
Secondly, if you want to use electronic devices in your matches today, the only way you can use them is if you have a life tracking device that both players can see. Keep it face up on the table. If you are on duty, doctor, fireman, if you've got a wife at home who's expecting and you need to be on call, please let us know. Otherwise, keep all electronic devices turned off. Also, Magic players, I'd like you to do me a favor. If you have any food or drink on your table, I want you to take it off. That is where food and drink belongs, on the floor. I know you do not want to use your cards as Seachrome coasters.
Very nice.
Also today, we will be posting pairings on Twitter. That's at SCG Open Pairings. And you can also search for the hashtag SCGINVI. Alright everyone, it is my pleasure to announce your head judge from the United Kingdom, level 3, Kim Warren.
Alright, so we're going to bring you a little bit up to speed on what's been happening here. Shaheen Soorani has chumped away all his tokens.
So we have
Sorry, 1 second.
498 players today. We will be playing 10 rounds of Swiss. We'll then come to top 8 and we will play the quarterfinals today with the top 4 tomorrow. If you can now please take out your deck lists. You will have a minute to look through them and then judges will come around to collect your lists.
Alright, so Shaheen with the Soren Markov is still, or the Soren Lord of Innistrad, still a little bit on a back foot here. Brian has Gavoni Township going with Lingering Souls tokens and Avacyn's Pilgrim. Shaheen was able to kill one of the tokens by double blocking with a Vampire token, one of his own Souls tokens, but at this point, Brian's creatures are threatening to become 3/3s with the second Township activation, and Shaheen's really going to need a sweeper to get back in this.
Yeah, he's going to need a sweeper right away. And then, even once he finds that sweeper, it's a little strange because then Brian does have another Elesh Norn in the yard.
Right, so
which he just found.
Brian has finally found another card. And this is what we mean when we say the card advantage engine out of Freets is very powerful. And he's going to go straight forward. He's going to unbarrel rights the Elesh Norn, and presumably, counting damage here, we have 4. We do not actually have lethal swing here.
Okay,
he could put Shaheen to 2 if he chose. Or he could put Shaheen
have a
to
look
5 and
at
kill the
the
Soren, which is I think what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Just a couple of words on the format. Obviously, we have had...
And Shaheen has a tragic slip for the Elesh Norn. Remember, Elesh Norn killed some of Shaheen's Lingering Souls tokens. So now the question is we get to see where the cards were actually, where the creatures were swinging. They were all apparently going at Shaheen, so Shaheen takes 7 and drops to 10. Seems a little hasty by Brian. He's got so much of an advantage going. I don't know if he needed to go be that aggressive. Shaheen's going to make a Curse of Death's Hold, which is good, but the Gavoni, which basically will mean that these creatures that Brian has in play, these are the only Souls tokens he's going to get. He's not going to kill any of these ones, but still a tall order. So Shaheen's going to, 1 sweeper now should be able to stabilize him. We'll get a double check on life totals here for you. I believe
after a sweeper, it's going to be very difficult for...
yeah. Shaheen with 1 card left in hand. So Brian now had enough mana to unbarrel rights Elesh Norn and activate Gavoni Township.
Please repeat.
Brian's going to try to kill him, and Shaheen does have the Doomblade for the Elesh Norn. The question is, where were these tokens attacking? We'll see in a second here. Shaheen's at 10, so if they're all going at Shaheen, it won't matter.
So he'd end up going to 3.
He goes to
token.
Yep. So Shaheen goes to 2. They were all going at him, so that's for 7 more damage. And
Brian takes this one down.
All right.
And the Gavoni Township ends up winning a game.
Yeah, Gavin.
Before the tournament there was a long discussion between Brad, myself, and Brian about whether or not they should be cutting the Gavany Township.
And which side of that did Brian end up on? Was he pro-township or anti-township?
He was anti-township.
Well, maybe there's a convert here then. It certainly won him the game.
On Thursday night, he wanted 2 townships, and on Friday morning, he wanted 0.
Okay.
It's funny because I flip-flopped the other way.
You went from none to wanting 2?
Yeah. Well, the question was, do you want 4 Blackleaf Cliffs or a Gavany Township? And they ended up cutting the 4th Phantasmal image so that they could play 4 Blackleaf Cliffs and the Gavany Township.
So the Gavany Township's almost being treated like a spell here.
Yeah. You don't really need more than 3 images.
No, I suppose once Sun Titan, you don't need more than 3 images.
I think Image is a pretty good defensive card too. It's very similar to Lingering Souls.
Yep.
But then it also ends up
depends on
working
the
as
kind of deck you're
rates.
playing against. But yeah, against in this matchup, Image is a pretty weak card. It's
Yeah.
really just, I mean, Brian will probably does Brian transform and start in this matchup? Would you say does he start trying to sword Shaheen or does he?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Attention,
I think,
Aaron Little, please report to the open stage.
So what gets covered
Aaron
in that
Little,
package?
It's
open
weird
stage.
because Shaheen is an Esper Planeswalkers deck. I know against Solar Flare, for example, you completely change. But
Right. My initial reaction would say to change here too, but after watching the first game where I piloting Brian's deck, I don't know, I might stay with the plan. I was really impressed with how those 2 plans lined up, and I'm not sure that Brian's on the wrong side of it.
and I mean, does Shaheen even have much graveyard removal? I don't think he has any.
No, Shaheen does not. He's playing 3 Memoricide, which probably get boarded in here.
Yeah.
Memoricide, that the kind of an extraction effect, always a little bit of a difficult one to talk about when you want to side in. This is the kind of matchup where you do want it, where you can essentially, Memoriciding Elishnorn, for example, really leaves Brian's deck crippled.
Well, Shaheen may be in for a little bit of surprise here, though, because I know that Brian's Solar Flare sideboarding plan, and I'm not sure what his sideboarding plan is here, because it's different. But his Solar Flare sideboarding plan is -4 Elishnorn, -4 Unburial Rites, -1 Ancient Grudge, +1 Phantasmal Image, +4 to Sword of War and Peace, +4 Strangler Geist.
Okay. Well, we'll see if he goes with that.
Yeah, I know, it's interesting.
Yeah,
because
I'm
I know
not
against Solar
sure.
Flare, that's definitely right.
Right.
From the matches I played this week. However, I don't know, I've never played against Esper Planeswalkers.
So from Shaheen's deck, he does have a Volition Rings, which, if he presumes that Brian's staying on the Freed's plan, he would board that in. Outside of that, he has a Batter Skull, he has an additional Curse of Death's Hold that he could use, and he has 3 Ratchet Bombs, which are probably very good against, I would probably imagine will come in out of the board. Killing the mana creatures out of Freed's is a pretty good play.
Yeah, we were testing the BBD's deck on Thursday, and the versions of we built a version of Delver that had 2 Dismembers and 4 Gut Shots just to test it against maximum resistance.
Sure.
Because just killing the mana guys is so important. And that Delver deck actually is pretty even against this. Whereas traditional, like the Delver decks that people are playing, if you want a deck that actually beats Delver, BBD's deck actually beats Delver.
Alright.
And it's very hard to find a deck that can truly achieve like a 55% or higher win percentage there.
Right. I mean,
And
Delver has
they've definitely found it.
Yeah, Delver's own Delver has enough powerful draws that it will steal at least a third of the games just based on some very powerful draws. So it's really hard to find a deck that when you say truly beats it, well, it's very hard to beat like Delver's flipping mana leaks from almost any deck, which is
Exactly, and you're going to lose to those draws still.
right.
And that's why I'm saying it's hard to get to like the 55% mark. And Brad seems to believe it's higher than 60%, but I have a hard time believing it's possible to get higher than 60% against Delver.
Probably not in this form. Yeah, I would be surprised at that too.
As far as game win percentage goes, match win percentage, you might be able to get over 60. You play like some Invisible Stalker deck, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I could get over 60. Watch
Sorry
me.
for the delay.
I'll never beat a Whip Player, but Phantasmal Bear, go!
Yeah. So some updates on other players currently doing well right now in the event. I'm going to give you, standings may not have been posted yet, so I'll give you a little bit of a heads up. You said before, Shaheen Soorani on your right here and Michael Hetrick, both still with only one draw, which was with each other at the end of Legacy yesterday. We have just a few players hanging out still in the XO1 bracket, with the one loss bracket. Braun Duin, which he was on your left here. Also, Jerry Thompson still hanging out with just one loss.
Jerry Thompson?
Yeah. So no one's surprised, you should see that Jerry is once again in contention here at the Invitational.
So, is Jerry qualified for Pro Tour Ravnica yet?
Yeah, Jerry actually made gold level last year. So
really?
Jerry's back on the train. Mm-hmm.
No, now I feel bad that
What I love talking with Jerry about the Pro Tour. So a lot of people, I mean, myself included, have really felt that there's been a lot of pressure with this Pro Tour change, where suddenly, what actually happened, I did a number crunch on my own, and about 1/3 of your pros fell off the train after Barcelona. And so, I remember talking with Jerry about this. I said, what do you think about, the fact that they're making the Pro Tour a lot smaller? And I remember his reply was something along the lines of, well, you can just qualify again.
he's fallen off and got back on so many times.
Just he made level 4, just didn't play anything for a year, then decided PTQ and got back up to gold just on his own. Okay, so we have Shaheen only on 6 cards here. But Shaheen starts off on the play, Seachrome Coast into Swamp. Brian with his turn 1 mana creature.
I'm not sure if Shaheen drew that Terminus that turn, but it looked like he did. And I'm surprised he didn't just use it.
So, we're talking...
So on Twitter, somebody asked if Delver is still going to be a deck once Ponder and Probe go away. We'll come back to that question as soon as this match ends.
Right.
Or when we get a break.
Alright, so Faithless Looting out of Brian. So Brian's done his great play where this is still my favorite part about the Freets deck, is where he sets up a really good aggressive board plan without actually using any unbarrel rights or any mythic rare creatures, which demands sweepers and answers from Shaheen when Shaheen really wants to be saving them for the relevant cards, and I'll put that in quotes. As a control player, it's very frustrating when your opponent does something like this, which is why cards like Curse of Death's Hold are so good for Shaheen here. It really it shuts off Brian's auxiliary plan of attack.
Ooh, Brian choosing to discard a Seachrome Coast there. I wonder if he has another source of blue. Blue only being used for Tracker's Instincts Flashback. Still surprisingly important because that comes up a lot.
Yeah. Mulch for Brian.
We'll
draw 2 lands.
Thank you again for your patience.
Not a bad card.
Still Divination.
Yeah, for 2 mana.
It's fine.
If Divination would cost 2 mana, I would definitely play it.
Well, if it costs 2 mana, but it only would draw lands, would you play it?
Yes.
I probably would too. Okay, that's not even a question. Yes. I suppose that's just the correct answer.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, that would be great.
It might even be better than the draw 2. Because then you can, build your deck to have, certain lands and things.
Right. There's been a lot of buzz on Twitter. Shaheen, one half of an amazing photo, which you could find on StarCityGames.com. He and Michael Hetrick being the same, we merged them into being the same person, not realizing right away that they actually have similar facial features and a similar haircut. And really quite a photo is making its way around Twitter yesterday evening. And Shaheen ends step Forbidden Alchemies will untap Think Twice, play Evolving Wilds, and pass the turn. And he does have a Sorin in it, it appears. He also has a Terminus. Alright, so Brian alright, he is on a bit of a board plan. This one may surprise Shaheen a bit. Playing sort of War and Peace, equipping it to a Spirit token, and getting in for a lot of damage.
Yes. And
yeah, so that'll be
pretty good. The sword
pretty
plan
good right
is not
here.
bad.
That was a lava axe by itself. Well, 7 damage. So that deals 9 to Shaheen this turn. So it'll drop to 8 life.
Yeah. And now Shaheen is in a pretty rough spot.
Well, he's not going to be able to get to the Terminus in time. He'll be dead before Terminus hits. So he's going to, his life total very, very precariously
going to have to find
low.
something like a Gideon, which can actually soak up this sword.
Yeah. All right, recent news, Jerry Thompson now moving up to 9-1 with a win this round.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Apparently playing Delvermere, according to his Twitter feed, playing more Delvermeres.
He played blue-white mid-range last round. So he's just fighting Seachrome Coast all day.
Yeah. So still no blue on Brian's side, which I guess turns off his Tracker's Instinct slashbacks and his Phantasmal images. Though, as you said in this board, the images are out in this map, you'd imagine, right? With the board plan?
I don't dislike the images here.
Okay, they may still be an
But actually,
are they
maybe
good
they
enough to
do
just,
come
they
out.
only
Okay.
trigger off Brian's card. So
That's
I guess
the thing,
I
is
would
I
assume...
keep them in against Solar Flare, but I probably would not here, because here it's not like my opponent's casting Sun Titans too.
Shaheen
you know
has
what I mean?
2 Consecrated Sphinx as his only creature. So my guess would be that Brian may board in the green aggro plan, but not board out. Might keep Elishnorns in favor of some of the Phantasmal images.
And I mean, I can be pretty confident that you're right about the Phantasmal images having come out, because the Seachrome Coast is in Brian's graveyard. He discarded it.
Right, he discarded it when he doesn't have them. Yeah, if he had images, he would have kept it, I suppose.
Yeah. If you don't have blue mana and you're discarding your Seachrome Coast with Faithless Looting,
So
I think you sideboarded out the blue card.
Shaheen's in a difficult position. He has a Consecrated Sphinx, he has a Terminus. Both of those won't come down in time to stop Sword of War and Peace. He's going to have to look for other cards here. I don't know what he has in his hand that interacts with this. He's just going to pass the turn, not actually just stuck on 4 lands. So this seems very favorable for Brian.
Brian sending his team into the red zone.
And he's going to flash back a Think twice, looking for Terminus, did not find Terminus, and a concession. So Brian Braun Duin in very convincing matchup, wins 2-0, handing the Shaheen Soorani his first loss of the tournament. So Brian stays at X1 along with Jerry Thompson.